Clark in transition. Clark, oh, what a look. And Hull lays it in.
The stage was perfectly set for a historic showdown. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Two of the most hyped and electrifying talents in basketball, each carrying the weight of massive expectations. It was more than just a game. It was the ultimate clash of prodigies, a moment fans have been waiting to witness.
It's not Paige versus Caitlin, and, it takes the entire team to win a basketball game.
But what happened when they finally faced off? Caitlin Clark did not just beat Paige Bueckers. She dominated her. In only 25 minutes, on a strict minutes restriction and fresh off an injury, Clark delivered performance so overwhelming that it etched her name into WNBA history.
Eyes on Iowa and Caitlin Clark looking to cement her legacy with a championship this week.
It left everyone in absolute awe. 64 points in a single half. A pass so perfect it literally stopped the game. How does a player make history like that in just one half without even going full throttle? This was not just a game, it was a statement. Now let's break down the moments that made this matchup legendary. The build-up matters. Because to understand why this game meant so much, you have to understand the history between these two stars. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers have been circling each other for nearly a decade, building toward a moment that finally lived up to the hype.
But I think the biggest thing about her is she competes, and she's just a winner. She wants to win at all costs. So I know going into that, it'll be a great matchup.
They grew up together in the same basketball orbit. They played side by side on USA basketball youth teams and battled each other in AAU tournaments when they were barely teenagers. When they emerged as a consensus best players in college basketball, Caitlin Clark at Iowa and Paige Bueckers at UConn. The comparisons became impossible to avoid. They were the two faces of women's college basketball, the rare stars who could fill any arena in America. Two guards whose style transcended the game itself, turning basketball into pure entertainment. Their first truly unforgettable collision came in the 2024 Final Four, when Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes faced Bueckers' UConn Huskies with a spot in the national championship on the line. It was an instant classic, back-and-forth runs, constant lead changes, clutch shots, and moments destined to live forever in tournament history. When the final buzzer sounded, it was Clark and Iowa celebrating a dramatic 71-69 victory.
Bueckers responds from deep.
That win sent Iowa to the national title game. Clark had the upper hand that night, and Bueckers had been waiting for revenge ever since. Fast forward to the 2025 WNBA draft era. Clark, after winning Rookie of the Year in 2024, had already established herself as the most electrifying player the league had seen in years, redefining expectations and drawing unprecedented attention to the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark, who is incredible from the free throw line, she misses the second free throw.
Bueckers, after staying one more year at UConn to chase a national championship, went number 1 overall to the Dallas Wings. Suddenly, the rivalry had a professional chapter. The basketball world circled the date. When would Clark and Bueckers finally meet in the WNBA? The first opportunity came on June 27th in Dallas. But the moment everyone was waiting for was delayed, as Clark was sidelined with a groin injury.
It looked like she was definitely in some pain there. Missed 4 games with that groin injury.
She could only watch from a bench as Bueckers poured in 27 points and added 6 assists. Even though the Fever still pulled out a 94-86 win, it did not feel the same. Everyone knew it. The real showdown was still coming. And on July 13th, inside a packed Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, it finally happened. From the opening quarter, Fever head coach Stephanie White understood exactly what this moment represented. Before tip-off, she compared the Clark versus Bueckers matchup to the legendary battles between Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie that helped define the early years of the WNBA.
For becoming one of the most electrifying players in WNBA history, Cheryl Swoops was a sensation on the college stage.
White said that watching those two legends go at it during her own playing days planted the seeds for what the league could become. Now, more than 2 decades later, a new generation had its own version of that rivalry. Everybody wants to see star players, White told reporters before the game. You think about who tunes in to watch LeBron and Steph. It's those kinds of matchups. The atmosphere inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse was electric. Fans had driven in from Iowa and Minnesota, the home states of Clark and Bueckers. College jerseys blended with WNBA gear throughout the stands, and the energy felt nothing like a normal regular season game. This felt like an event. From the moment the ball went up, both stars delivered. Within the first 2 minutes, Clark made her presence felt on defense, reading Bueckers like a book in the passing lane, stepping in for steal, and racing the other way for a full-speed layup through contact. The crowd exploded. It was a kind of sequence that defines Clark. She doesn't just score, she creates chaos, flipping defense into offense in the blink of an eye and punishing every mistake.
Clark trying to force the action, banks it in for the nation's leading scorer, Caitlin Clark.
She was conducting the offense like a maestro leading a symphony. But then came the pass that stopped the entire arena. It started on the defensive end, with Clark blocking a shot. Aaliyah Boston, the Fever's all-star center, secured the rebound and immediately pushed the pace. Clark was already sprinting up the floor, reading the play before anyone else. Boston hit her near half court, and what followed was pure basketball poetry. Sophie Cunningham was streaking down the right side with a Dallas defender position between them. Any normal player would have slowed it down and set up the half-court offense. Clark isn't normal. She fired a full-court dart, a touchdown pass that sailed over the defender's outstretched fingertips and dropped perfectly into Cunningham's hands and stride. Cunningham finished the layup untouched, and the announcers lost their minds. "Beautifully done," one exclaimed. "Touchdown, Fever." That single play captured everything that makes Clark special. The vision to see passes no one else sees, the confidence to attempt passes no one else would dare, and the skill to execute them at a level that leaves even professional broadcasters searching for words. Indiana exploded for 36 points in the second quarter, shooting 16 of 21 from the field, an absurd 76% over a full 12-minute stretch. Dallas had no answers. The wings scrambled, tried trapping Clark, switched coverages, changed looks. Nothing worked. Every time they thought they had the Fever figured out, Clark made another outrageous read and found an open teammate for an easy bucket.
Clark connects the first logo bomb of the season from Caitlin Clark.
By halftime, Indiana was up by 18. They had poured in 64 first-half points, the most any WNBA team scored in a half all season. The game was essentially over, and Caitlin Clark had played barely 20 minutes. What followed was history. Let's put what Clark did into perspective, because the numbers are wild. In just 25 minutes, she finished with 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. That stat line places her among only 5 players in WNBA history to record multiple games with at least 10 points, 10 assists, and 5 steals, a league that's been around since 1997. But Clark took it even further. She's now the only player ever to post 14-plus points, 13-plus assists, and 5-plus steals twice in a career. No one else has done it more than once. On top of that, she became the fastest guard in WNBA history to reach 100 assists in a season, and the fastest to reach both 200 points and 100 assists. Every time Caitlin Clark steps on the floor, she's not just playing the game. She's rewriting the record books in real time.
Clark working on the rookie. Clark on the drive. Hang, shot too strong. There's Howard to clean up. And Clark working off the ball.
Even on a minutes restriction, just 3 games back from injury, Caitlin Clark completely dominated. She wasn't supposed to go all out, yet she orchestrated a 19-point blowout while playing barely half the game. The Fever finished with 30 assists on 40 made baskets, showing elite ball movement by any standard. 5 players scored in double figures. Kelsey Mitchell had 20, Natasha Howard 18, Aaliyah Boston 17, Sophie Cunningham 13 off the bench, and of course Clark, the engine making all click. She created open shots, kept defenders off balance, and made the Fever look like a championship team. 14 points, 13 assists, 5 steals in 25 minutes history. That said, Paige Bueckers was spectacular too. The rookie finished with 21 points on 9 of 15 shooting, grabbed 4 rebounds, and added 4 assists. She extended her streak of consecutive double-digit games to start her career to 17, joining only Candace Parker, Aja Wilson and Natalie Williams in that elite company. Bueckers showed exactly why she was the number 1 overall pick.
Paige Bueckers is going, oh my goodness, I'm taking this to the hole without hesitation.
Paige Bueckers showed exactly why the Wings built their franchise around her. Her game has a smoothness that feels almost unfair. Her pull-up jumper is pure, and she can get at any spot on the floor no matter who's guarding her. In the first half, she even stole the ball from Clark and went pure instinct. Then the deep three in the second quarter, from the logo, breaking her recent shooting slump. She had talked with the Fever's player development coach about Steph Curry's own struggles, and it clearly paid off. The shot went in, the crowd erupted, and the game became unforgettable.
Clark was trying to redirect a pass. Clark, oh my! From Schenectady! Clark.
Every possession in this game felt like a highlight, every sequence unforgettable. So, what does July 13th mean for the WNBA? First, the Clark. Bueckers' rivalry is very real, and it's just getting started. Even in a lopsided game, their matchup delivered the kind of entertainment this league needs. 2 stars with history, respect, and contrasting styles pushing each other to new heights. This is star power on the level of Magic versus Bird, or LeBron versus the field. The WNBA finally has its own global rivalry. Second, Caitlin Clark has separated herself from the pack. She's not just the best young guard. She's making a case as the best point guard in the league. Her vision, playmaking, and ability to elevate everyone around her are unmatched. She's clutch, fearless, and still improving in only her second season. If this is 80%, imagine 100%. Third, the Indiana Fever are now legitimate championship contenders. With Clark orchestrating the offense and 5 players scoring in double figures, they're nearly impossible to stop. The question now, can anyone rise to Clark's level? Bueckers showed flashes, but the challenge is only beginning. The next chapter of this rivalry could change the balance of power in women's basketball forever.